Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Think Future. My name's Calabucas, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation startups, the future, not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. If you're watching on YouTube, smack that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll get notified when a new show comes online. And if you're listening on a podcast service, just hit subscribe and give us a review on Apple Podcast. I'd greatly appreciate it. I said us. I don't know why I say us. It's just me, myself, and I right here. So, I had a little foray in sales at one point. So I was an engineer. I've always been an engineer, been a coder, been developing systems for a long, long time. And there was a period of time where I was working for a web design company. We were doing the interactivity work for this web design company, and I was coding. I had people working for me who were coding. We were coding all this interactivity work. And then all of a sudden, the recession hit, and they were going to let me go. They were going to fire me. And I said, oh, no, don't fire me. I would have to go back to Canada because I was here on a visa. But I really love the United States. I wanted to stay here. So I said, what can you do? How can you help me stay here? And they said, well, you can keep your current job, but you also have to do sales. You have to sell as well. And I'm like, I don't know anything about sales. How the hell am I going to sell? I have no idea how to sell. And I ended up actually doing quite well. I bumbled into it. I guess it was like a beginner's mind sort of thing. I went to all my friends and I talked to them and I said, hey, listen, do you want to buy a website? I mean, everybody needs web design services. And it turns out that I got a bunch of business and I actually did quite well bringing the business in. But it was my exposure to sales. And I thought to myself, man, sales really sucks. It's really, really hard. It's really, really hard. So I thought to myself, there's got to be a better way to do this. And then if you look at all the sales messages we're bombarded with day after day after day after day, there's billions of messages on the internet that are all sales related. It's a incorrect match between the buyer and the seller. Buyer wants something, but the seller is constantly saying, buy this, buy this, buy this, to people who don't even want to buy this. So that's why we get pelted by these messages that are mistargeted. So I thought to myself, I'm an engineer. There's engineers out there. Why can't we figure out a better way to match up the supply and demand? Why can't we match up the buyers and the sellers in some kind of market where the buyers and the sellers are matched together? I mean, if you think about it, we know everything there is to know about everybody nowadays. I mean, we could just go into their browser history or look at their trails throughout the internet. We can get a pretty good idea of what people want. So why is it that we can get a pretty good idea of what people want? We have a pretty good idea of what people sell. Why can't we come up with some kind of optimal matching engine to connect those together and reduce the number of sales messages shredding the internet? I mean, some people might say, well, people don't really know what they want. But I would suggest that maybe people don't know what they want, but they leave clues as to what they want. And we probably have enough intelligence right now to be able to come up with some engine that will automatically present the right thing at the right price to you at the right place and time so that you can make that purchase instead of being inundated with all of these messages. And I think to myself, why haven't we done this? And if we haven't done this, we should probably do it. So if you're out there and you're thinking about building a startup, this would be a great area to work in. How can we improve supply and demand? And some people might say, well, people are too ingrained in the system the way it is. We're not going to be able to break this thing up. And in fact, if you think about it, maybe some of the big tech companies actually make money based on the mismatch. In fact, even if it's a close match, people still click on things. They still make money on the mismatch. So maybe people are making money on the mismatch. Maybe there's huge industries mapped to the mismatch and nobody wants to change those huge industries because they make so much money out of it. But if you ask me, that's not the very good experience for the end user. For the end customer, for the regular human being who wants to buy something, they should be able to be optimally matched to a seller at the right moment. In fact, there's no internet demand engine, but everyone who's tried to building an internet demand engine, that's failed because every time you put a demand into the demand engine, all they do is they cover you with sales messages, and that's the last thing people want. We need to build some kind of an engine which optimally matches buyers and sellers at the moment they need to be matched. Once we had this, then we can reduce the 99.9% of junk that's on the internet. Wouldn't that be a great thing? Wouldn't you like to see a clean and clear internet devoid of sales messages, or at least greatly reduced? And with the upside of getting the exact thing sent to you the exact moment you want it at the exact price you want to pay for it. I think that's a great idea, and someone should do it right away. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.